Hey guys, it's Noelle. In my last bullet journaling video, I showed you a ton of awesome collections that would help you keep track of all your notes and tasks. But another awesome thing about bullet journals is that it makes tracking your goals really fun. Even though the idea of reading 50 books in a year or writing your 10-page essay in a week is a little intimidating, once you start tracking your progress in a bullet journal, it can almost become not fun, but satisfying. Before I get into all the amazing ways that you can track your goals in your bullet journal, definitely subscribe to 17's YouTube channel right now so that you don't miss any of my future bullet journaling tips and tricks. So let's get into it. Here are some really satisfying ways to track your goals in your bullet journal. The first spread that I'm going to talk about is the monthly tracker. If you watched my plan with me for August way back when, you'll have seen this tracker in there. This is for all your little goals that you want to achieve every single day that aren't worth their own spread. So what I did was put the days of the week all the way across the page, and then the day under the number. And then on the left side of the page, I put the small goals that I want to do every day on the left. That would be things like flossing, leaving the house at 7:50, and reading and going to the gym and being in bed by 11 o'clock. Every day you should sit down in front of your monthly tracker, and whenever you complete each task on a daily basis, you make a square under the day and next to the task, and then fill it in with a color. So we'll pretend that on Tuesday I did everything that I set out to do on a daily basis, but then some days you might actually not. So on Wednesday I flossed, but I wasn't able to leave at 7:50 because I pressed snooze 100 times and missed my bus. But I did read, and I did get to bed by 11. Hopefully by the end of the month, you'll have a completely filled in, colorful tracker. So the next spread I'm going to talk about is a words tracker. If you're anything like me, you might procrastinate a lot when it comes to writing your essays. So this tracker would be really good for you if you want to really keep yourself accountable for getting your essay done in a timely manner. So let's pretend your teacher gave you an essay to do and it's due in 3 weeks, but you want to get the first draft done in a week. So what you do is create a word tracker graph. You want to get your first draft of your essay done in a week. So what I did was created a graph where on the x-axis I put the 7 days I want to write my essay in, and then on the y-axis I put the number of words that ultimately have to be in the essay. So 10 pages would be about 2,500 words. So I went all the way up to 2,700. Then I tracked how many words I would have to write every day in order to make it to 2,500, and that would be 350 words a day. So I put a green line for how many words I should write. But once you start writing your essay, you should start tracking your actual words written. So hopefully your second line, your actual line, will line up with your projected line, but sometimes it will look a little different. And then you track that with a different color. You should also probably make a key so you know which line was your projected words every day and which line is your actual tracking of your words. So hopefully at the end of the week, you'll have reached your top green dot and your goal. The next spread that I'm going to talk to you about is the books in a year spread. So if you want to read a particular amount of books in a year, this would be a great spread for you. Let's say I wanted to read 50 books in 2017. What I did was drew a bookcase with 5 shelves, and then on each shelf I drew 10 boxes that represent books. So some of them are straight up and some of them are slanted and some of them are lying down in order to make it look like a real bookshelf. And then make sure that you get 50 in there, but I leave them empty. And then throughout the year, when you read a book, you can fill in one of the books and write down what the book title is. So let's say I read Romeo and Juliet, and then you color it in. And let's say the second book that I read is All the King's Men. At the end of the year, you will have a whole colorful bookshelf filled in if you made it to 50. My next tracker is the savings tracker. This is a tracker to kind of track how much money you've saved for different items that you've really wanted to get. What I did for this tracker is I made 3 columns, which are each 3 columns wide, and then 1 row for each $100 increment. So for my car repair, it's 15 rows high and 3 columns wide. For iPhone, it's 9 rows high, 3 columns wide, and so forth. For this tracker, whenever you save another $100 allotted to each one of those saving pools, you can fill in a little row. So let's say I saved 300 out of the 1500 I want for my car. So I would fill in the first 3 rows. And each column should have its own color. So for iPhone, let's say that I saved 200 out of that. And then my trip to Europe, it's probably the least important out of my car repair and my iPhone, so I've only saved like $100 out of that. So hopefully the idea of filling up your columns of savings will help you stash away $100 instead of blowing it at the mall. So the next goal tracker is the sleep log. As you know, it is recommended that you get 8 hours of sleep every night, but that is not always the case. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. So for this tracker, I made a graph where I put the days of the month down the side and then the hours from 7 at night to 6 in the morning on the bottom. And then on the right side, I put a tracker column with the title 8 hours. So to use this tracker, what you do is you mark down when you went to sleep and when you woke up. And if you get 8 hours of sleep, you can knock off one of these little tracker boxes on the right side. So let's say that on Tuesday the 1st, I slept from 10 at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. I would mark off 10 with a line and then 7 o'clock with another line and then fill the box in. And then because I slept 9 hours, which is over 8 hours, I can fill in my little 8 hours box on the right. Then the next day I sleep from 10 to 6. And then I slept for 8 hours, so I can fill in the box on the right. But sadly, on Thursday, I slept from midnight to 6 o'clock in the morning because I had a test the next day. What can I say? I had to study. And then you don't get to fill in your tracker on the right because you didn't sleep 8 hours. But your hope using this tracker would be that by the end of the month, you have as many of these 8-hour boxes filled in. And it's very satisfying if you actually do make it happen. One way that Bujoers save money is to do a no spending challenge. And by no spending, I mean don't spend on kind of spur of the moment things. You wouldn't count something like groceries or paying your bills. It's more like you didn't spend money on going to ice cream with friends or buying that new dress at Forever 21. For my spread, I wrote October no spend at the top of my page and then put a little calendar flag for each day of the month. And so throughout the month, you can color in one of the flags if you didn't spend any money on things other than groceries and bills. And then if you succeed, you'll be able to fill in every flag, and then you'll have a ton of money to fill in your savings tracker on the other page. So those two kind of fit together really nicely. My next spread is the October goals spread. This spread is for goals that don't necessarily fit into a standard kind of tracker. So what I did for this spread was I put October goals in a little box in the middle of my page, and then I created a section with their own color heads for friends, family, future, health, and fun. So under friends, I put plan Jane's birthday party and create a Facebook group for the event. And then family, I put visit Graham. For future, I said work on resume. And then for fun, I said go see It, which has been getting great reviews, and then try that new restaurant down the street. And then for health, I said get vitamin C serum, which is like really good for your skin apparently. So that is how to track your small goals for the month. And then throughout the month, you can just cross them off when you finish. The next goal tracker that I'm going to talk about is a skill tracker. So if you want to learn a new skill, you can use this spread to help you keep track of the different steps to learning that skill. So I used learning the guitar as an example. I put in the middle of the page, learn guitar in purple calligraphy, and then I drew a little guitar doodle. And then around it, I put the different steps to learning the guitar. And then throughout the process, or throughout a year, I guess, would be a good amount of time to start learning the guitar, you can X off each step of learning when you feel like you've adequately practiced. So the final spread for tracking goals is the Bujo Everyday Tracker. One important goal when you're tracking goals in your bullet journal is to actually bullet journal so that you can keep track of your goals. So this is a super simple spread. All you have to do is write Bujo Everyday as a title and then create a little calendar block that you can color in as the days go by and you do your bullet journaling. So I am going to color in the days that I bullet journal in orange. Your goal is to have your whole calendar filled in at the end of the month, but face it, sometimes you miss a couple days, so you'll probably have a few blank spaces, but it'll be really nice to see the calendar as filled up as possible. That's it. I hope these ideas for tracking your goals will help you make the most of your bullet journal. Are there any ways that you track goals in your bullet journal that I didn't mention? If so, definitely drop them in the comments below. And definitely subscribe to 17 so that you can see all my future bullet journaling tips and tricks. Bye guys!